Hi everyone, I'm Tom and today I'm going to be playing the Manhattan Project Energy Empire. Now this is a worker placement, engine building kind of game, and I'm going to be playing the solo game today, but hopefully it should give you a good idea of what the game in general is like, because there aren't that many differences. The differences that we make for solo are we have some neutral players kind of blocking off spaces, or they're not blocking off, they're just going to cost you more to use these worker placement spots. They are present in the two-player game as well, but as well as the ones in each market, we have extra ones in the cleanup and power plant spaces. We have 2 pollution on each of these spaces instead of 4 in the two-player game, and there are a certain number of dice in the supply. I think they are the basic differences. There are a couple of achievements that are taken out that relate to being ahead of people or having more something than other people. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. It's you play most of the things the same as if it was a multiplayer game. So we start off with 3 workers, 2 energy. And I have in the solo game, you have the choice of all of the nations. You can pick from all of them. But just to make it a bit simple, I just shuffled them and picked 2, and I'll pick from 2 of those. So I can start off as the United States. I would start off with 3 oil, a science, and 2 money. And if I wanted to impress the United Nations, which you have to do in the solo game, then I would need to spend an oil and 2 money to do that. So that would be okay. If I started as China, I would have an extra worker, a plastic, and a steel, and it would cost me plastic and steel to impress the UN. I also have the pick of between these achievements, and I would either get a point at the end of the game for every nuclear contamination I have, or a point per oil barrel. And I think I want to try and not pollute as much as I usually do. I've played this a couple of times now, and I tend to go down the pollution route, and it doesn't always go very well for me, as you might imagine. So I think I'm going to take the United States, and I'm going to take the one for oil reserves, a point per oil barrel. Now, achievements are limited to 5 points each at the end of the game. So at most I can earn 5 from this, but I'm thinking the US starts with some oil. I need oil to impress the United Nations, so I want things that will get me oil, and after the United Nations has finished, hopefully I can just achieve the achievement. So China will become my player aid. And so in general, we play as in the main game, but there are a few conditions we need to meet to be able to win the solo game. We have to reach the last space of the United Nations track, so I have to do this 5 times. We have to reach 20 or more points from achievements. And remember, each one is limited to 5 points, and you can have maximum 5 achievements. Also, you need to score 100 points or higher. So if we meet all of those things, we will get a ranking in the solo game. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm going to try. So the first thing I've seen that I quite like, if we come to the government section, there are 3 sections of the book: government, industry, and commerce. If you look in the government section, I've seen this national park that I can grab, and it would give me $1 for each unpolluted forest space in my environment. This is my environment at the start of the game. You always have 1 in the sky there. But I have 5 unpolluted spaces, so this is a nice way of just earning 5 money, which is quite a lot. That seems quite attractive to me. This is getting money for other structures you own, getting steel and science, not so interested, turning oil into things, and getting 2 money. But I really like just going and grabbing this national park. So to place a worker, I have the 3 workers. Wherever you place, you need to have a bigger stack than anything else there. And your stacks can only be made up of energy underneath your worker. You can't spend 2 workers and call that a stack. You have to have a worker and an energy, which is what I'm going to have to spend to go on the government market, because there is already this neutral worker here, which forces me to pay a bit more. So now I grab the national park, or drop it. So this just comes to the side of my player board. And now, well, right now and any time in the future that I use an action in the government section of the board, I will get to activate this. I can activate it by spending energy or workers 2 at once. So I'm going to do it right now. I don't have much option here, so I am going to just spend a worker and an energy, and that way I can use the worker for something else. So gain $1 for each unpolluted forest space in your environment. That is $5. It did cost me, though, I should remember this, It either costs me a science or 2 money to grab that card. I think I'm going to spend my starting science. Now that I've bought that, the public infrastructure slides down and gets a bit cheaper, and a new one comes out. Containment facility, you can turn science into cleanup. This is how you get rid of the pollution from your environment. Now that could be important to me because a certain amount of pollution is inevitable, and I want to keep it completely away from my lovely trees. I think the next thing I'm going to do, since I have got so much money to start with, I'm going to invest in some education. Now, this is going to get me another worker. I will spend 3 of my 5 that I just earned, and I get a pollution. Your pollution comes from this track here. So this comes off the track, and I have to put it somewhere. Let's put it in the sea so it's not in my forest. And now I get another worker from my supply who is available to work right now. And I'm going to use him to activate. Remember, whenever I go to a green space, I can activate this if the space is free for it to be activated. It isn't in this case. I can also activate this whenever I want and, you know, impress the UN. I think I'm going to do that now with this worker. So it costs me an oil and 2 money. And I move up this track. I've scored 4 points for the end of the game, but more importantly, I have to do this or I lose. So it's good to get started now. And since I don't have any workers left to work, that's what I've been doing so far. Maybe I should have gone through it like this. I've worked every turn so far. Now I don't have any workers. I need to generate. So this is what we do to generate. You can claim an achievement if you still have 2 or more unused workers and energy. I have nothing left, so I can't claim any of the achievements that are available at the moment. Then return all workers to your player mat, discard all energy you have left. So you really want to spend your energy before you're forced to take back your workers. Now, refine oil. You can take a temporary oil dye for every oil barrel you want to give up. Now I think I'm going to have to give up 1 because I don't want to not have any energy because that would limit where I can place. So I take 1 of these petroleum dice. I don't have any myself yet. So we roll this, and if you add multiple dice, you look at the highest result. So I rolled a 6, which is nice in a way because it gives me 3 energy. So I'll take that for my next turn. But for example, let's say I had a few different dice at this point and I was rolling them. I would take all of the energy that's written on all of the dice, but I would look at the highest number rolled, and the highest number rolled tells me which kind of pollution that I get. In this case, I would get normal pollution. If the nuclear was the highest, I would get nuclear pollution, which is harder to get rid of. In this case, though, I only had the 1 dice, and every face on it is pollution. So I pollute again. I choose where this goes. And let's go sky. So, is that the end? Yes, pollute your environment according to your highest die result, or if you don't pollute, discard 1 of the tokens from the global impact track. Now this space on the global impact track has been cleared. Whenever that happens, we finish whatever we were doing, whatever action it is we're taking, and then we flip over the next global impact card. There's 3 early and 3 late. When all of the pollution's gone from here, it's the end of the game. We get 1 more turn after this is cleared out, and then the game is over. So let's see what's going to happen to us. Cheap imports. Now the first thing that happens, we score our sea. For every unpolluted sea section in our environment, we get a point. So we get 4 points right now. Then we refresh all of the buildings in a certain section of the board. And this is the commercial buildings, so they weren't amazing anyway. We fill from right to left. I think I could be doing that wrong. So what have we got here? We've got you can look at the next global impact card and get a money, or you can pay a money to get either an oil, a steel or a plastic, or a science. That's quite nice. And then the last thing, immediately place a plastic on each commerce board location. So all of these spaces we can go to get a plastic on them, which you can get if you go to any of those spaces. And that's it. So I am ready to roll. I have got all of these workers and energy ready. So what's next? I think I like the look of some scientific research. Let's just send a worker there. There's nobody there, so I can just go alone. I'm going to get a science for going there. and I get to peek at the next global impact card. So let's look at what's coming up. We're going to be scoring forest. That's great because I've been keeping my forest completely clear. We're going to lose all of the commercial buildings. So if there's one I want, I need to get it before the next pile runs out. And beginning with the active player, each player draws a card from the structure deck of their choice and keeps it as if it had been purchased normally. Okay, so that is coming up soonish. And then I am going to spend, let's spend a worker and an energy again, I think, to do this and get 5 money again. Now I know these are going away and I quite like the look of the port, so I'm going to grab that now. I can get it because I'm getting the plastic from this space. It costs 1 plastic to get a card from here. I'm going to grab the port, and that's going to pollute my sea, which is a shame. But hopefully we can start getting this cleaned up soon. And now I can turn a money into either an oil, a steel or plastic, or a science. I think I'm going to turn it into oil. So I spend 1 money and grab an oil. That costs me an energy or a worker. And then I'm going to activate the United Nations, since I've already left myself with not enough. What have I left myself without? Not enough energy or workers to hang over to have achievements. That's something I need to keep in mind because I'm doing it. This is going to be the second time I generate and not get an achievement. And there's, only so many times that you can generate and grab these things. So I've used everything again. So I'm going to have to generate. I can't claim an achievement. I bring all of my workers back and get rid of the energy. Then I think, yes, I need some energy. I need to get some energy dice. I need to concentrate on that in this round. I'm going to pay for another one. I roll a 6 again, so I get 3 energy again. And a pollution, which comes from here. And that means another global impact is triggered. We know what this is though, imperialism. So I get 5 for my forests. I'm up to 9 now. Then we get rid, commercial should have come out, shouldn't it? So we had turn plastic into 3 money, not so useful. They're getting refreshed again though. So what do we have? Gas station, gain money equal to the current price of oil. The current price of oil is shown on the, the one furthest to the left that still has tokens on it. So oil is 2 at the moment for 3 barrels. The other one, a farm, that's just get 2 money and a point. And then I can draw a card from a deck of my choice and keep it as if it had been purchased normally. I think I would like, let's see, we should go for green or yellow because we've already gone into that, that area. I think we'll go green. So national resources, that's either get a cleanup or an oil barrel. That is very nice. Okay, so we're ready to start working. I think my first action is going to be to come down to finance and grab some money. So I get this plastic. And you see the finance section has some choices that you can make in the multiplayer. You can either just take 2 money for yourself, take 3 money for yourself, everyone else gets 1, 4 money yourself, everyone else gets 2. In the solo game, you just get 3 money. So I'm going to get 3 money. And I get to activate my port again. And I am going to grab steel. For my next action, I'm going to come to the power plant and I'm going to grab some hydro-geo power. I can only have 1 of these and it doesn't produce that much energy, at most 2, but it never pollutes. So if this is the highest number I roll, I don't get any more pollution that round. It's also worth 2 points at the end of the game, but I do pollute my forest, which needs to be sorted out. I have 2 workers and an energy left. The problem is, if I want to kick off all of my green stuff, it's going to use up all of the workers again, and I'm going to be going back with not able to get an achievement. I think I'm just going to go for some scientific research, so I'll grab some science again. I think while I'm in the money, I'm going to buy some oil. So that costs 2, and I get 3 barrels of oil. That will sort me out for later on. And I'm not going to go to the UN or anything. I'm going to keep these 2 guys free. Now I'm going to generate so I can claim an achievement, and look at this achievement. Healthy forests, a point for every unpolluted forest space in your environment. That completely works with what I want to do. Otherwise we could have a point per steel, doesn't really work with what I've got so far. A point per energy die, that's doable, but still not as good. In the solo game, you discard the 2 you don't take, and 3 completely new ones come out. A point for every commercial structure, a point for every structure you have with a red arrow on it. and a point for every oil well plus 1 point. Next, I need to get my workers back and get rid of all the energy. Oh, I should have this plastic, shouldn't I, for going there? So next, refine oil. Am I going to spend oil for a dice? I think I'm going to, because I would like a lot of energy to be getting on with. A lot of energy would be nice. A higher number on the blue than the brown would be perfect. Oh, it's just happened. So I've got 4 energy, so 1 more than I've had the last couple of generations. But the highest number is on the hydro dice, and so I do not pollute. This goes away. The pollution, though, does still come from the track and go back into the supply. So the game is still ticking along whether I pollute myself or not. So we move on to the next global impact, free trade. Score forests, not perfect, but still quite good. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on 13 there. Refresh the commerce again. Wow, who shuffled these? There wasn't anything particularly amazing there that I was after. What have we got? Gain a plastic from the warehouse and turn oil into money and a point. Then immediately each player gains $2 and then may use the trade action as if they'd gone there on the board. So I will grab 2 cash. So with the trade action, you can freely make 1 trade between 2 money, a plastic or steel, and a science. I think I'm going to turn one of these plastic into a science. There we go. So we're all done there. Now we're going to move on to the nasty ones that don't quite help us. So the first thing I'm going to do here is come to the government market. It's going to cost me 4 money to grab this card, or 2 science, but I'm going to spend 4 money instead. And I'm going to get this containment facility. And this is going to help me clean up quite a lot. So what am I spending here? I do want to have some stuff left over after this, but I also want to spend a lot of stuff. So first thing I'm going to activate is the containment facility to turn a science, I have 2, into 2 cleanup. So I'm going to clean up my forest definitely, and the sea's looking a little bit dodgy, so let's clean that up a bit. Next, well, in any order, I definitely want to activate this and grab 5 money. And then I'm going to activate this for 1 more cleanup. Let's clean up the sea a bit more. Okay, so already I am back down to just having 2 things here. Do I want to generate again? I could get an achievement now. And, you know, things with arrows, I've already got 2 things with arrows. I've only got 1 commercial structure. So not perfect achievements for me, but I can get more things with arrows. Oh, another government should come out. Nuclear reactor, gain 2 science and look at the next thing. Does use a lot of people though. I need more energy, I need more people. Maybe I give up on the achievement for now. I think I'm just going to generate. Let's play it a bit safe and see what we can do here. So I've got 2 things left over. I'm going to get the leading consumer achievement. And new ones coming out. Point for every worker -1, point for every industrial, point for every unpolluted airspace rather. Now that's an attractive one because I can clean up quite a bit now. Okay, continuing, let's get the workers back, or throw them across the board. 1, 2, 3, 4 workers, get rid of all the energy. I am going to grab a petrol dice. And let's see what we get. Hopefully, let's hope for 5 energy. Oh no, only 3 energy. I didn't pollute, but only 3 energy. Well, that's the way it goes. So we just remove 1 from the track there. And the thing hasn't been triggered yet. So I could, in theory, just generate again after I've done a couple of things. So what would I like to get now? I've got a lot of money, maybe I should get more workers. If I get a worker, it's going to trigger the global impact thing. I think the first thing I'm going to do is buy some oil. It's going to cost me 3 money. I get 3 barrels. And then I'm going to trigger this port. I'm going to pay money out of my 5 that I've got left. And I am going to grab a steel with it. I'm also going to send someone to the UN with 2 money and an oil to move another space along here. Have I really only done this once? I could have sworn I've done it twice. Oh dear. Oh well, you'll see on the video. Have I already done this twice? Anyway. So that's done. And I have got 3 workers and an energy left. So I could do one more thing and then have 2 people left to claim the clean air achievement. Trouble is, the things I want to do generally cost a lot of... I need a lot of energy and people. So, oh, that's what I was going to do. I'm going to go to the power plant. With my steel, I'm going to grab a coal dice, which is going to increase my chances of polluting, but it's going to give me some more energy as well. Now I am going to generate with 2 things left over, so I'm going to grab, let's see, I've already got 3 workers, but this seems very achievable. I can clean the air very well. I've got 4 of my 5 achievements, so I can worry less about that now. What have we got? A point per government structure, that's a good one to get. A point per energy, a point per 2 money. All of those are quite good for me. So let's grab my workers back, get rid of the energy. So do I want to spend an oil to get an energy dice? I do. So let's grab some petrol. I do have 3 dice now to roll though, so I should be getting some good energy return here. Yep, 6 energy. I am polluting. Oh, actually. Oh, this is very nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 energy. And since they are all the highest number, I can pick. I'm going to pick the one that doesn't pollute me, surprisingly. So this can just go away. The petrol dice also goes away. I don't get points for that. And the global impact is triggered. Oh dear, I don't want to look. Chemical spill. Oh dear. So I get 3 points for my airspaces. 1, 2, 3. Each player takes 2 pollution tokens from the supply, not from the track. Chooses a row with space and places both of the tokens in that row. Well, since I don't care as much about the sea, I'm going to put them in the sea. That's a shame. That's annoying. And we refresh the industry cards. So what do we have? The hazmat team there gives me another cleanup. And the energy company, drill an oil well as if you were using the oil drilling location, or buy an energy diet as if you were at the power plant. But kind of, it feels a bit strange going into industry this late, because look where we are on this track, and I still need to go up 3 times on this. I think I am going to get some scientific research because I need science to keep the thing going, and I would like to know what's going to be hurting me next. Nuclear disaster, oh no. So the sea is going to be scored, so I need to clear that out. The industry is going to be cleared, which I don't care about. But also, each player chooses 3 pollution tokens in their environment and flips them to become nuclear contamination. Nuclear contamination takes 2 cleanup, 2 cleanups to get rid of. You flip it back to pollution and then you can get rid of it. So ideally, before that happens, I want to get rid of all the pollution in my zone. So that's going to start with the containment facility, get rid of a science to clean up 2. We're scoring the sea next, aren't we? So let's get rid of those. They're the 2 that came from that the event that just happened. We'll definitely use this to clean up the sea again. So at the moment, we only have 2 of these to hurt us. Gain a money for each unpolluted forest space. That's 5. And while we're at it, we need to keep going to the UN. So 2 money and an oil. And we can move along there. Okay, so what do we have left? We don't really have to worry that much about, because we're going to be generating 2, 3 more times, maybe even 4 more times. We're going to be generating a few more times, and we only need to go back 1 more time with enough stuff to get the achievement. So I think I'm going to buy some oil again. Costs 4 now, because that's where we are on the track. I get 3 barrels of it. And I am going to activate this, spend a money, and I am going to grab a steel. And the last thing I do is going to be to come to the power plant and get another coal. Now that is the last coal in the supply in the solar game, so I can't just keep doing that. Generate time. I cannot claim an achievement. I don't have anything, so let's find the 4 workers wherever they're hiding. And where are we now? So do I want to spend an oil? I can stay out longer if I've got a ton of energy. And I feel like I'm going to be polluting. I've got, 2 coal and a petrol now, so what have we got? 2, 4, 6, 8 energy. And the highest number rolled is a coal, so we are polluting. Let's just pollute here. And those 3 can go back. It's just a big mess on the board now. We are done there, aren't we? We don't trigger the global impact yet. So I think my first thing is again going to be to do some scientific research because I want the science. And also I'd like to peek at this one. So this is going to score forest, that's fine. And then beginning with the new active player, each player takes a nuclear contamination token from the supply, places it on a board location. Whenever someone goes there, they have to place it in their environment. Okay, that's nothing to worry about. So I am going to activate the containment facility, use up one of my science, 2 cleanup, boom, boom. Then let's use the national resources. That pollution's gone. So if we go to generate like this, we aren't going to be flipping any to turn them into nuclear things. Let's grab 5 money from the national park for our lovely clean forest. I say it's lovely looking like this. I've never played the game with no pollution. And then we are going to take a little trip to the UN and spend all that. And we are there. Only one more time we need to go there. This is panning out a lot better than last time for me, I have to say. Okay, so maybe this is the turn where we save 2 things to be able to get an achievement. We've got a lot of stuff from all of that energy we gained. I don't think I should have this steel, should I? I feel like that should have gone on the coal dice. I think since I've got a plastic and a science, I think I'd like to come to the power plant and spend that on a solar wind dice. Just to, a bit more energy, maybe curb the pollution a bit. Because I've thought that the event is going to happen after I pollute. So I'm probably going to get 1 nuclear, which still isn't the end of the world. It's probably still nothing to worry about. Then I should probably activate something over here to get my port work. You see, these buildings, I'm not sure if I should be getting more of them. I'd like the nuclear reactor, because that would kind of sort out my science needs. I wouldn't need to look at anything. It does give me nuclear pollution, though. It's worth 5 points. And all of this can just activate at once. It's probably the least pollution I've ever had, but also the fewest buildings I've ever had. I think while the oil costs 4, I'm going to come over here and buy some more. I think actually, rather than buying oil, I've got so much cleanup here, I could drill for oil. I'm going to drill for some oil. Now, the sea, I think, is the next thing to be scored. So let's put this in the forest, because it can be cleaned up, just like anything else. It's going to get me 3 oil barrels, and I didn't have to pay the 4 money. The downside, though, is nothing, triggers from all of that stuff. And then we need to do one more thing, really, to make use. Oh, and then we can hand this 2 in and get the achievement. Or I can do something. I could grab the airport, for example. I've got a lot of oil now. It would cost me 2 money, but that would be made back. But if I do that, I'm getting pollution on my board. Let's risk it. I think we can get rid of the nuclear pollution that event is going to give us. So I get the airport, and it's going to make the event trigger now, actually. So it's still just going to be 1 thing. So I have to pay 2 money to grab that building in the first place. I need to pollute my air. And I can activate these things. I only have 1 energy left, though. So do I want to spend a money and grab one of these things, or spend one of these oils to get 2 money and a point? I think points sound good. Let's give it one of the oils, because we've got 5. 2 money, and most of all, a point. We're now on 17. But I triggered the global impact, Scored the sea, that's 5. Get rid of the industry buildings. So new ones we have computer factory, turn a plastic into a science and 2 money. Small steel mill, get some steel. And then we have to flip pollution tokens. I only have 1, which is good, but now it's nuclear. And that's everything used up, absolutely everything used up. So I'm going to have to generate. And now I'm wondering how I'm going to get that achieved. How many points have I got from this? So if I can clear this out, I'll have 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, and at most 18. So I'm going to need another achievement or to get some more red arrow buildings. Okay, we'll worry about that in a second. Let's grab the workers back. So do I want an oil dice? I should be able to do without it, shouldn't I? Let's just take it because we want the energy left, don't we, to get an achievement. So let's grab 1. And I can discard more, by the way. I can discard more oil. Maybe I should have done that earlier. So let's see what we get here. The highest number I can see is a blue and a black, but I will choose the blue, of course. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 energy. And a pollution just goes from here. So the end of the game is very, very close. So I need a science. I probably should have made that happen and got the science. But I can get the science from, I can either turn some oil into science, or I can come here, which I'll probably do. This building should be down here, and we should have a new expensive one. So this highway, turn an oil into either a plastic or a steel and a point. But yeah, I think I'm just going to grab 3 money, and then I'm going to set off the United Nations, spend an oil and 2 money, and then I'm going to spend a money to get a science. I don't think I really want to give up the oil for the money and the point again. Okay then, so I think I'm going to set aside 2 energy so that it's left over so I can grab that achievement. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is some more oil drilling because I want oil left at the end of the game, don't I? Let's put that in the sea. So I get 3 more oil. Let's just grab another science. We don't need to look at the card again, we've seen it. But then I can trigger all of this stuff, so clean up for 2 science. So let's get rid of this and this, they're cleaned up. Let's gain an oil barrel in case we're going to use one. Then we've got 6. We can gain 5 money because the forest's clear. So with having 2 left, I can still do an action with an energy. Or I could just do a yellow action and activate the airport since we have that extra oil. I think I'm just going to come here with 2 money. And not activate anything. Because I want this 2 left over. But that's 3 points there for 2 money, that's not bad. So I'm going to generate now. I can claim an achievement, so I've got 2 left. But now, I've got 8 money. So I've only got 3 government structures, but I've got a lot of money, so this is probably more attractive. Or this, I'm going to have a lot of... I might not have a lot of energy, though, if I activate all of this. Yeah, let's go for money, because this is going to earn me 5, isn't it? And then I've got all 5 achievements now, so let's try and make the best I can from them. So there's my workers. Let's get rid of all this energy. And so, do I want oil? Let's see, I'm ending the game basically. This, whatever happens, this pollution's gone. This is going to happen, and I'm going to get 1 more turn. With only 1 turn left, I don't need that much energy. I only need enough energy to make this stuff happen. Because I'm going to do this. Because I need to clean up, I need to earn some money. So I might as well just spend it and get a ridiculous amount of energy. Okay then. So, 2, 4, 6, 8. It's probably a good job I did, actually. And the highest number, definitely polluting me. And the global impact happens. We score forests. I kept my forest lovely and clean. That's another 5 points. 27 I'm on now. We get rid of... Oh, this should have slid down. And this should have come out. Money for each unpolluted ocean. Too late, though. They're both gone. I don't think this will change my decision, though. Turn 3 money into 2 points. That's very nice. A money for each unpolluted airspace. And then we need to take a nuclear contamination and put it on a space. Well, I am not going to be getting steel, am I? So let's just put it there. Anyone that uses that space will get the nuclear contamination. But all I'm going to be doing is grabbing something from green, really. I've got one last action, and then the game's over. I think, yeah, I'm going to come over here and buy this building, because if I bought that building, I've got 8 money now. So if I spent 4 for that, and then I earned 5 back, I wouldn't have 10 to get the full from that. So it doesn't really work out getting the extra point from the building. So I will grab the public infrastructure, and I can activate it all. I don't need to save anybody, do I? So 5 money because my park is unpolluted. Then I will do a cleanup, get rid of that pollution. Spend a science for a double cleanup, so 1 cleanup, 2 cleanup. And then gain a money for each commerce and industry. Well, that's 3. And I think we're done there. I get 1 action and that's it. So now I'll just grab the rulebook and we can look at our final scores. So structures earn points. So I've got 3, 6, 9, 11, 14, 18, 22 from my structures, plus 27, so that's 49. And energy dice, 2 points for each dice on your mat. Well, they're on the board, but they're still on the mat. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 57. United Nations track, well, that's 17. It has to be 17, really, or you've lost. So 64, 74. Then achievements. So I'm sure we've got at least 20 here. We've got 5 from the oil barrel, 5 from the forest, so that's 10. 1, 2, 3 from that, so that's 13. 5 from unpolluted air, 18. And then I have a lot of money. I have more than 10 money, so that's 5 from there. So what was it? 5, 10, 15, 23. Wow. Okay. 1, 2, 3 plus 20 is 97. I'm on for a better score than last time, I think. And then a point for each unpolluted space in your environment, plus column bonuses for each of these columns that are unpolluted. So that is 5, 10, 15 plus 6 for all of these. So another 21. So that's 98. So 118. And I think that is it. So it does mention here that the person who is in the lead in the UN track gets an extra 3 points. Not in the solo game. That's why that little marker's covering that up there. But let's just flip back over to the solo rules here. And we can, so to win, reach the last space of the UN track, done that. 20 or more points from achievements, we've got 23. And have a total final score of 100 points or higher, 118, we've done it. So where did I get? I am president. So that's the best I've done, but clearly there is room for a lot of improvement here. But I'm very pleased with that. I've tried the solo game once before and I got 102, I think, just barely made the 100-point goal. But 118, I'm very pleased with that. And look at my lovely environment. Who wouldn't want to live in the United States? So that is Manhattan Project Energy Empire. I hope that gives you a good idea of how the game plays. If you'd like to know what I think, then you can click the card in this corner. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye, everyone.